Okay. Now, this is a parable that Jesus, and the reason he tells parables, this is a parable, and Yeshua told people, he said, I do things in parables because those who are confused, I want them to stay confused. Those who are not confused, you'll know what these parables mean. So this parable is a wedding banquet. He's describing, we'll scroll up just a little bit. Where it's chapter 22, we're going to go up into 21. And people out there in the world, I always have to go up a little ways because that's why I'm telling you those chapter verses are in the way. That where it says the parable of the wedding banquet, ignore those things. Ignore them, they're in the way. So we're going to go up a little bit. So we're going to start at chapter 45. When the chief priests and the Pharisees heard Jesus' parables, they knew he was talking about them. They looked for a way to arrest him, but they were afraid of the crowd because the people held that he was a prophet. Now Jesus spoke to them again in parable, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to those who had been invited to the banquet to tell them to come, but they refused to come. So he invited his people, a certain group of people, to come to his son's wedding banquet, okay? And they refused to come. Then he sent some more servants and said, tell those who have been invited that I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and fattened cattle have been butchered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding banquet. He's telling them again, he's enticing them, please, come to the wedding banquet. Come to my son's wedding. But they paid no attention, went off, one to his field, another to his business. The rest seized his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. So the others, when he was sending his servants out, they were starting to kill them. They're like, we don't want to hear any more about your invites. Just kill them. So the rest seized his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged. He sent his army and destroyed those murderers and burned their city. Then he said to his servants, the wedding banquet is ready, but these I invited did not deserve to come. Now this parable is talking about the Hebrew Jews, Israelite Jews. He invited them. The Old Testament, he's telling them, I invited you guys and you shunned me. Now I am inviting everyone else. He's inviting the Gentiles, is what he's telling us. So he's inviting the Gentiles. Go to the streets, go to the street corners, and to invite to the banquet anyone you find. So the servants went out into the streets and gathered all the people they could find, both good and bad, and the wedding hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to see the guests, he noticed a man there who was not wearing wedding clothes. Here's my favorite part. He goes, friend, he asked, how did you get in here without wedding clothes? The man was speechless. Then the king told the attendant, tie him hand and foot and throw him outside into darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many were invited, but few are chosen. That's the parable of our science project that I'm talking about. He invited the Hebrew Israelites. They rebuked him, didn't live the way they were supposed to. So he had to go through the Gentiles, us, to come to this wedding. Now, this wedding banquet, when he talks about you didn't have on your wedding clothes, he's saying you didn't clean yourself up. You couldn't have. All I wanted you to do is clean yourself up to come in here, and you couldn't do that one little thing. So he tied him hand and foot and threw him out. And the reason he tied him hand and foot and threw him out, so he couldn't come back. So he'll never be able to be back. And his son's wedding banquet is when Yeshua's wedding to us in the new kingdom. That's all that story's about. That. So he's specifically telling people, clean yourselves up. And all you have to do is just that. You can't wash yourself up, put on some white clothes, and come to this banquet. It's free. I've invited everybody, and all you got to do is that one thing. Clean yourselves up. You can't do it. And we can't do it today. We're still struggling today. Like, that's all he's asking. Nothing great, grand. Just clean yourself up. and know that you're going to a wedding banquet, and we're struggling with it. I mean, and it's all back on us again. About this way. Not I weigh less than that guy. I don't eat as much as that guy. I don't drink as much as that guy. That guy smokes cigarettes. I drink a pot of coffee, but that's okay. You know what I mean? It's this way. Clean ourselves up. It's all he's asking. Nothing great.